Hello students, in this class we are going to learn about jQuery. As you can see, we are going to learn about jQuery. The tag, the subtitle of it is write less, do more, right? So let us study what is jQuery. What is jQuery? jQuery is a JavaScript library, right? So jQuery greatly simplifies JavaScript programming. The purpose of jQuery is to make it much easier to use JavaScript on your website. Now, before going to jQuery, we must understand what exactly is a JavaScript library. Now, what is a JavaScript library? JavaScript library is a library of pre-written JavaScript that allows for easier development of JavaScript-based applications, especially for Ajax and other web-centric technologies. That means you don't have to write code on your own. JavaScript library contains all the pre-written JavaScript codes. We just have to call that library and we can use whatever is inside that library. So that is what is called a JavaScript library. A pre-written code will be there inside that library. So jQuery is one kind of a JavaScript library. So there are different libraries which are available for JavaScript, but jQuery is one of the popular, right? So jQuery greatly simplifies JavaScript programming, yes, because we are not doing new code here, right? We are just taking the code from the library and we are making little bit changes, so it will actually be very easy for JavaScript programming. The purpose of jQuery or jQuery is to make it much easier to use JavaScript. That's what I told you just now. So going on, what is the use of JavaScript query? Now what is the use of jQuery? Now jQuery is a lightweight, write less, do more is the subtitle of it, JavaScript library. The purpose of JavaScript query is to make it much easier to use JavaScript on your website. jQuery takes a lot of common tasks that require many lines of JavaScript code to accomplish and wraps them into methods that you can call within a single line of code. That's what I told you. In the JavaScript library, all the pre-written code will be there. In your HTML or in your CSS, you are just calling that particular method and you are executing it in your HTML or CSS, right? So it was created in 2006 by John Resig with a nice motto that is write less and do more. JavaScript simplifies HTML document traversing, event handling, animating, and Ajax interactions. Now, there are few features of jQuery listed out here. The main 5 features of jQuery is, first is the event handling. Now what is event handling? jQuery offers an elegant way to capture a wide variety of events, such as user clicking on a link, without the need to clutter the HTML code itself with event handlers. Now what happens in event handling is we are going to create some events in a web page. For example, if we click on this button, something should happen on a web page. Now without using jQuery, it is not possible, only if you use HTML or CSS. Why? Because JavaScript allows event handling and jQuery has event handling feature, right? So you can use all the events related to jQuery and all those things in your HTML and CSS. The next thing comes is the Ajax support. Let me tell you about Ajax a little bit. Ajax is nothing but asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It is a combination of asynchronous JavaScript and XML, right? XML is just like HTML. So this both combination is most important. Why? Because usually nowadays Ajax is used a lot in creating web applications. So jQuery supports Ajax as well. jQuery helps you a lot to develop a responsive and feature-rich site using the Ajax technology, right? So the next thing comes is the animation. Now jQuery has pre-animations which is already there in its library. So jQuery comes with a plenty of built-in animation effects which you can use in your website. So you don't have to create a new animations. All the built-in animations are already there in jQuery. You just have to call that method and you will have to use that in your HTML and CSS and JavaScript, right? So we're going to see some examples about it later. But the fourth feature of jQuery is cross-browser support. Now what is cross-browser support? jQuery has a cross-browser support and works well in Internet Explorer, Safari, Chrome, Opera, Mozilla Firefox, right? So they have different browsers. Now jQuery works in all the browsers. That is why it is called cross browser support. So it can work in any browser, correct? So that is cross browser. Next comes is the DOM manipulation. Now what is a DOM? Now DOM is nothing but document object model. So to give an example of what exactly is document model, I'm gonna show you this image. This image shows us what is a document object model. As you can see, first thing is the document over there. Next thing comes the root element. Now root element is the first element within which all the element exists. So here the root element is the HTML tag. So under that there are actually two children of HTML. These are considered as the children. Now in the head tag and the body tag are the two children of HTML. In the head tag you can have title, you can have script tags, you can have style tags. All these are children of head tag, right? Now in the body tag and the head tag are also called as the siblings over here. You can see that, right? So this is the root element, then comes the children, that is head tag, and the body tag. These two are siblings. Then under the head tag you have title, you can have script, you can have style over here. After this, in the body tag you have h1 tag, you have image tag, you have division tag, you have anchor tag, you have so many other things, correct? But in anchor tag you can see here href is also there. That means inside an anchor tag the child of anchor tag is a href, correct? So this is how a document object model looks like. So whatever programs we create or whatever script we write, this depends on this document object model. So that is why DOM manipulation can be easily done using jQuery. It supports CSS3 selectors and all those things. jQuery made it easy to select DOM elements, negotiate them and modify their content by using cross browser open source selector engine called Sizzle. There's a specific engine called Sizzle. So using that engine we can select the DOM, we can manipulate the DOM, we can manipulate the children inside it using jQuery, right? So this is about document object model. Now why use jQuery? Why do we have to use jQuery? Now jQuery, first of all, let me tell you, jQuery is a fast, small JavaScript library included in a single JavaScript file. It is not multiple file, it is a single JavaScript file. It provides many built-in functions using which you can accomplish various tasks easily and quickly. Correct? It can be done very easily and quickly. Now, there are lots of JavaScript libraries out there, but jQuery is mostly popular and among the most extendable, right? So many of the biggest companies on the web use jQuery, such as Google uses it, Microsoft uses jQuery, IBM uses jQuery, Netflix uses jQuery, right? All the streaming platform, Amazon Prime and all those things uses jQuery, and that is why we will have to learn about jQuery and how do we actually program using jQuery. Now let us learn about JavaScript query, that is jQuery fundamentals. Now fundamentals, going ahead, adding jQuery to your web pages. Now let me tell you, jQuery must be installed in your system or you can fetch it from the net. Now let me tell you, there are two ways of doing it. First is downloading the jQuery library directly on your system and giving a path, or you can include jQuery from a CDN. CDN is nothing but a content delivery network, right? So content delivery network means that the content is hosted on a server, hosted on a website. You are just calling that content, you are taking that content and you are putting it in your HTML file or JavaScript file. So that is what is content delivery network. Content delivery network is a huge topic alone, so let us not worry about it right now. There are different content delivery networks available, like Google CDN, Microsoft CDN, right? So different types. So let us see how exactly we can download our jQuery using these two methods, right? The first method, let us see about downloading the jQuery. Now there are two versions of jQuery available for downloading. First is the production version, second is the development version. The production version is for your live website because it has been minified and compressed. A development version is for the testing and development. It has uncompressed file and readable code. So to download both of these versions, you can use any of these versions, but to download this, you will have to go to jQuery.com. So let us see how do we download this. I am in the web browser here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to www.jquery.com. Okay, so when I go to jquery.com, you can see this browser. You can see this website, right? So you can see lightweight footprint, CS3 compliant, cross-border support. Whatever I told you, it is already available here, right? So it is already, I told you about Sizzle, CSS selector engine. Sizzle is also there, correct? So everything is available here. To download that, to download a jQuery, you'll have to go to this button called download jQuery. Just click on it. So when you click on it, there are different versions of jQuery which are available. You can see download the compressed production jQuery, download the uncompressed development jQuery. These are the version names, 3.5.1, 3.5.1, all these things are available here, correct? Or you can download it using your npm install as well. Npm install jQuery, whole package will be downloaded using npm, right? So you can do that as well. But when you come down, you can see there's one more option called using jQuery with a CDN. That means you don't, CDN is nothing but you are not downloading the jQuery in your system directly. You are just getting the content which is already there and you are just calling that content. That's it. It will not be installed in your system. It will be taken from the server directly. So that is what CDN means, right? CDN has, now there are different CDNs which are available. You can see Google CDN, Microsoft CDN, CDN, JS CDN, JS Deliver CDN, right? So most popularly used are Google CDN and Microsoft CDN. So now after downloading jQuery, what you have to do is you will have to add a script tag, script source of that jQuery. Now let me tell you how exactly do we do it. First, let me download the jQuery. Right, so I will download the compressed file of the jQuery, just production version. So you can see all these things are there, correct? Now you will have to copy this, Control A, Control C, then afterward you will have to create a new file and you will have to paste it there. But what happens when you use this is when some things might happen, like maybe some errors would happen. Why? Because while copying we might have missed some things and all those things. This is not in a proper format to use in our JavaScript file, correct? To use in our program. So that is why we prefer to use CDNs. Now let me go and show you what exactly is a CDN and how we can use it. So let me go here. You can see Google CDN, right? You'll just have to click on Google CDN here. So once you click on Google CDN, you can find different options here, right? So script tag is already mentioned here. You'll just have to go here and copy this script tag, entire thing, right? So you'll have to go here and just copy this, Control C, and your script tag is copied. So let me go and create a new HTML file where I'll add this script tag. I'm in the code editor right now. So I'm going to create a new file called jQuery.html. So I have created a new file called jQuery.html. Now I'll get the structure of the HTML, exclamatory mark and tab, you'll get the whole structure. Now I'm going to paste the script tag here. Right, so script tag is pasted here. You can see jQuery.min.js. Now whole script tag is downloaded using the CDNs here, Google APIs, that is the CDN. Right, so you are not downloading your jQuery into your system, but instead you are getting it directly from the server. So your script has been included here, right? So like that you have Microsoft CDN. Let me show you that as well. So this was about the Microsoft CDN which can be used. You can see ajax.asp.netcdn.com. This is the Microsoft CDN. Previously, if I go, this is the Google CDN we just copied in our script tag. Like that, Microsoft CDN is there, right? So now, what is a jQuery syntax? So let us learn exactly what is a jQuery syntax. Right? So just like how HTML have tags, just like how CSS have selectors and all those things, even jQuery has its own syntax. Now jQuery syntax is a tailor-made syntax for selecting HTML elements and performing some action on the element. Just like I told you, the tagline tells us that write less, do more. The same way our jQuery allows us to do that. So basic syntax is $of selector.action. Selector can be tags, selectors can be IDs, selectors can be class selectors, pseudo selectors and all those things. Selectors are nothing. We just learned about selectors in CSS. The same is nothing but selector here. You can have H1 tag, P tag, anchor tag and all those things in that part of selector. And whatever action you want to do, you are giving .action of. Okay, you can see some examples have been given. Let us check the basic syntax there. A $sign is to define or access the jQuery. To access a jQuery, you will have to use $sign. Then comes selector. Selectors is used to find that particular element which you want to do an action. Next comes the action, the actions to be performed. These are few examples which are given. You can see this is a selector, then hide. That means whatever is inside the disk selector, everything will be hidden, right? That is what is action, hide, dot hide. Next also dot hide, the paragraph will be hidden there. Next comes hide again. Dot test is the class selector. Next comes hash test, that is the ID selector, correct? So let us go forward and see about jQuery selectors, right? So first selector which we are going to use is the dollar. Let us learn about dollar first. jQuery selectors allow you to select and manipulate HTML elements. jQuery selectors are used to find HTML elements based on their name, ID, classes, type, attributes, value of attributes, and much more. It is not only about ID or class. You can have all these things selected. Types can be selected, attributes can be selected, values can be selected, much more. There are different selectors which you can select, right? So all these selectors should start with a $sign. That is the $sign and the parenthesis. This means that jQuery is applied, right? So this is about this. Next comes the first selectors which you are going to use is the element selectors. Element selectors is nothing but a HTML element. We are going to use a HTML element to select a particular thing. So a jQuery element selector selects HTML elements based on the element name, right? So based on that element name, this jQuery will select that particular element. You can see the syntax. You can select all the paragraph elements on a page by using this paragraph. You can just add the paragraph tag inside it and you can select that. So let us see an example of how do we do it. Now I have created a file jQuery.html, right? So here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add h2 tag first. Let me give the name as TechVed Labs. Then I'm going to add a paragraph tag. So paragraph, this is a paragraph. I'm going to put this is a paragraph. Then after that I'm going to add one more paragraph, right? So in one more paragraph I'm going to add this is another paragraph, right? So two paragraphs are here. Next I'm going to add a button. I'll tell you why button. I'm going to add button. Click me to hide the paragraphs. So this is a button which I have created now, paragraphs. So what before that, this will not execute anything because this will just show the paragraph on the website. So let me go and check. So there's a button over here. If you click that also, it will not work. But what exactly JavaScript does, let me tell you now. Since I've used a button, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select that button and I'm going to tell the text or the paragraph to hide. So let me do that. First of all, I've added the jQuery here, right? So if you don't add the jQuery CDN there, your program won't work. Your jQuery doesn't work. So next I'm going to add one more script because I'm going to write the code here. So inside script I'm going to select first, that is $of. I'm going to select. Now first I should select the document. Now document is a predefined, you don't have to change anything. There's something called document. You'll have to first select the document. Document means this whole document. Then you're gonna add a function called ready of. You must add one more, the function you have to add it here. Then open the brackets, remove this, open the flower brackets. Now you'll have to select the button. So you'll select the button and when you click that, your paragraph should vanish, correct? So I'll tell you how to do it. Now here again I'm going to select the button, right? So button. So when you click on it, so to click you have to click directly, you have click off. Again you have to create a function because you'll have to run those. Again close this, again open the flower brackets. Now here you'll have to select the paragraph. So let me select the paragraph. Now what should you do when you click? You should hide, correct? So hide off, close it. Now you'll have to close the entire thing. So let me close it like this. Here also let me close it. Now control save. Now go back to the output. Now when you click on the paragraphs, you can see that it hides, but it will not do now. Why? Because you have already given it. Refresh it once again, just go here, click on it, and you can see the paragraph is hidden, right? So this is how we can use jQuery in your programs. Now what did we do? We vanished all the paragraphs, right? Why? Because we have given paragraphs. There are 2 paragraphs here and both the paragraphs vanished, but I don't want both the paragraphs to be vanished. So that is why what I'm going to do, I'm going to give an ID to it. So let me think that, okay, I want this paragraph to be vanished. So let me give an ID to it. Let me give ID is equal to, I'm going to give it as test. So now instead of paragraph here, you can directly give it as test. Now save it. Now go back, refresh it once again. Now click on it. It should be hash. Remember, ID should be hash. It is not directly. So you have to give hash here. So now control save. Now go back. Again refresh for safety. Click. Now you can see there's only 1 paragraph which got vanished. The same way, if you want both the, you can give class here. If you want, you can give class here. Instead of hash, you can give dot. Dot selector is used for class selector, right? So again, control save, click on it, again it vanishes. So this is how we can use jQuery using ID and class. If you want, you can use it here also. Maybe I'm going to give ID here. So let me give ID for this, ID of test1. So I've given ID of test1, right? So I'm going to give one more statement here. Dollar of ID is hash test1 dot hide, correct? So let me go and check the output. Now if I click on the paragraph, both will hide. Why? Because I've given both this as a class and this as a ID. If I remove this, first paragraph will be there and the second paragraph will be hidden. Let me go. First paragraph is there and second paragraph is hidden, correct? So this is how we can use ID and class selectors here. Now to select everything, now whatever H2 is there, paragraph is there, buttons is there, to select everything, what you can do is you can just remove all of these things first. So here you can just write dollar of this star mark, no hashtag. When you do this, hide. So now control save, go back, click on this, entire page will be hidden. Why? Because I've selected all the elements. Now star is used to select all the elements, and that is why entire page will be hidden, right? So this is how you can use jQuery here. Now jQuery can be used in your console as well. So let us see how do we do it. Now let me remove the script. We don't want this script here. So I've removed the script. Control save. So let this be there. Why? Because I will show you how exactly we do it in console. So go to inspect. So once you go to inspect, go to console. Here I want to select the H2 tag. Now if I want to select the H2 tag, I'm going to give dollar of, I'm going to select H2, right? Dot, I'm going to click hide. Okay, so when I do this, my H2 tag has been hidden. To again get it back, I'm going to use an action called show. Now again I'm going to select H2 tag dot show. Now see, you can see TechVid Labs came back. Why? Because I have used show here. So this is how we can use hide and show, correct? The same way if I want paragraph to be there, so I'm going to click dollar of paragraph tag. I've given an ID over there, correct? So hash first is dot, right? Dot test. So let me close this, dot hide. Now you can see first paragraph has been vanished, has been hidden there. If I want to get it back, just copy this statement once again, just paste it here. Instead of hide, you can use show. Now click it, you can see the paragraph, it again came back. Okay, so this is the basic thing which you can use using an ID and a class selector. If you don't want to use ID selector and a class selector, you can just give the element name over there and you can get the output, right? But now this won't work. Why? Because you have not given, you have removed the command, correct? Now we have done this function, right? The button function. So let me do one thing. I'll just copy this function, cut this function. We don't want it in our program. Let us check if this works in console. So let me go back, refresh. You can see it is not working here, correct? So but now I'll just paste this document.ready function of button.click function of test1 test2, these two paragraphs should hide. So let me click enter now. So there's nothing happened. Why? Because we have to click this first. So let me check. When I click this, you can see even this works as well in the console. You can see the entire paragraph has been erased or hidden. Now it doesn't work. Why? Because you have to do it one more time. So now if you click, it will work. Correct? So this is how you can use functions here as well. Right? So if you want to just remove the entire thing, let me do one thing. I'll click refresh. If you want to remove the entire, if you want to hide it, just you can select star, you can select the entire thing here, dot hide, again enter. Now click on this, the entire thing will be vanished. Correct? So this is how you can use button and also ID and class. Now let us see an example of how can we use fade in and fade out effects for this button. Right? When we click on this button, we should make sure that this paragraph should fade in and fade out. So let me do one thing. Just I'll remove this first, or let it be. We're just gonna do with it. So let me create a script tag once again. Script. Now inside the script I have to create. Now how do we create? Same thing. We have to create a function. So document of dot ready, document dot ready. Right? So after ready, you have to put function, again open close this, again open the flower brackets. So here you have to select the button. So I'm gonna select the button. So button. So after the dot, when you click on that button, it should fade. So click, again function, right? So again open it. Again what I'm gonna do, I should make sure the paragraph vanishes, right? So paragraph should fade in and fade out. So first I'll do the fade in. So let me use dollar, again p tag. Directly I'm going to use both for both the tag. Now there's a function called fade in and fade out. You can see jQuery methods, right? Fade in and fade out. Let me click fade in, or let me first use fade out off. That's it. Don't put any arguments there. Now just close this as well. Right? So here you have to put this. Now close it. Now go back. Now go back. Now again refresh. Then if you click, you can see it faded and it vanished. Correct? Now let me copy the same code, and after this what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it back in here. I'm going to put fade in, so it should come back. So go back, click. I'll have to close this also here once again. Control save, go back, click, fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out, right? So you can see the things which are happening there, fading and fade out. So you can use fade in, fade out here. So like that, there are different options, different actions which are available in jQuery. You can use two buttons as well. You can give button class is equal to, for this button class is equal to, you can give button 1, or if you want one more button, you can use one more button as well, right? So you can actually create different kinds of different variations of jQuery actions and jQuery functions as well, right? We learned about different selectors which are available in jQuery, right? Now we're gonna see some actions. First we're gonna learn about jQuery events, right? So what are the actions, what are the events which is possible in jQuery? All the different visitors action that a web page can respond to are called as events. An event represents the precise moment when something happens. Now event is nothing but it is a moment when something happens on a web page. That is described as a event. Examples are moving a mouse over an element, that could be an event. Selecting a radio button, that is also an event. Clicking on an element, that is also an event. Now let us check different types of events which we are gonna do in jQuery. Now here are some common events. First event is the click event. Click event, we have already done it, but we're gonna see it once again. Click event. Then we have double click event. Then we have mouse enter event, mouse leave event, right? So these are all the different events which are available there. Key press, key down, key up are the keyboard events. Form events, we have submit, change, focus, blur, correct? So document or window events, we have load, resize, scroll, unload, correct? So we are going to see some examples of how exactly we can use jQuery events in our programs, right? So the first, jQuery syntax for event methods. In jQuery, most DOM events have an equivalent jQuery method, right? They have an equivalent jQuery method. To assign a click event to all the paragraphs on a page, you can do .click, right? We have already seen that .click, right? So .click of function. So you have to write a function. So what should be there? So you'll have to write a function for it. So commonly used jQuery event methods. First, we are going to study about click. Click method attaches an event handler function to an HTML element. Function is executed when a user clicks on a HTML element. The following example says when a click element fires on a paragraph element, hide the current P element. So let us see that examples. Here in the previous example we saw that we used a button, right? But this time we are not going to use a button for click element. So we are going to use this, right? So this pointer. So let us see how do we do it. Now let me do one thing. Let me remove all of these things right now till here, because all the other things are same. So here I will have to create I will have to select this, right? So let me just remove this only P. Yeah, here also I'll remove this paragraph, so we don't require this paragraph as of now. So control save. So let me write now, let me add $. I'm going to select the paragraph. So paragraph is selected, right? So after selecting click off, I will have to write a function, right? So open this, it's a flower bracket, open the flower bracket, so remove the square bracket. So here instead of button we have not used button here, so $of, I will have to put this, right? So after that this dot hide. Now control save it. I will have to close this as well. So after closing this, control save it. So let me do one thing, let me open with live server. So you can see, right? So let me remove the button first. So we don't require this button right now. So let me remove it. I have removed the button. So let me go back. There's no button here. So when I go to paragraph, when I click on the paragraph, you can see it hides, right? So that is how you can use click here using this. So this means this will be linked to the paragraph which we have used. The selectors which is used here will determine this, right? So you can use that as well if you don't have a button. The next event which we can use is the double click event. Now we saw a single click event, right? So in double click event you can use double click as well. So whenever user presses double click, you can activate that particular function. So double click method attaches an event handler function to an HTML element. The function is executed when the user double clicks on the HTML element, right? So let us see how do we do it. So here instead of click, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on double here, double click. So again go back. When you click on it, nothing happens. When you double click on it, it will vanish, correct? So that is what double click specifies here. So we used click before, but we are using double click here. So let me do it once again and show you guys. So let's refresh it. When I go and click here, it does not happen, it does not do anything. When I double click, it vanishes, right? So that is what we have given the function double click. When you double click on the HTML element, it will be hidden, correct? So this is how you can use double click as well. So the next thing which we are going to study about is the mouse enter. Now mouse enter method attaches an event handler function to an HTML element. The function is executed when the mouse pointer enters the HTML element. When we use mouse enter method here, whenever the cursor or the pointer goes to the element, it will activate and the function will be activated, correct? So let us see an example of how we do it. So in the code editor right now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put, instead of double click, I'm going to put mouse enter. So let me put mouse enter. You can see mouse enter function there. So control save the mouse enter function. So after that you remove this, because we are going to do something. We are going to click on alert now. It should alert whenever the mouse goes near that particular paragraph, it should alert something. So alert, I'm going to say you enter TechVed Labs. So here I'm going to change the paragraph to enter to TechVed Labs. So control save this. Now you can see all the syntax is correct. Please check all the syntax, right? Semicolon should be there here, right? So control save. Now let us go back, open with live server again. So now we can see, right? So now when you go near that, it will say this, but whenever you are doing this, you can see whole paragraph has been taken here, correct? You can assign an ID as well here. ID is equal to P1. So here you can call that particular ID. So I'm going to call this particular ID, control save. Again go back, refresh it. Whenever you come near that paragraph, it tells you this. You can see whenever you come near that particular paragraph, it will tell you this, correct? So this is how you can use the mouse enter function. Next comes mouse leave. Now mouse leave, these events are similar to mouse enter. A mouse leave method attaches an event handler function to an HTML element. This function is executed when the mouse pointer leaves the HTML documents, right? It should leave the HTML document. There we told that it should enter the HTML element, but here whenever it leaves the HTML element, then only this function will be activated, right? For that you can just give mouse leave function directly. So let's go back and yes, here instead of mouse enter, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on, I'm going to give mouse leave, correct? So control save. Let me go back to the program, right? So now let me go back to the output. So I'm in the web page right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this. So let me do it once again. I've gone here. See, it repeatedly tells this. Now see, whenever I've gone here, whenever I come out of this, it says this, correct? I'm here, whenever I come out of this, it alerts, correct? So that is what you can use here, but you have to remove the text and you have to add your own text there, correct? So there's one more function with the mouse, that is mouse down. So what does this mouse down do? So let's save it once again, go back, refresh. This mouse down basically tells you that whenever you click the left arrow, left mouse button, or the right mouse button, or the middle mouse button, so your function will be activated while the mouse is over the HTML element. Now when you do this, if you press right button or left button, it does not work, but when you are here and if you press on it, left button will also work, right button will also work, even the middle button will also work if you are on the element and if you press all these things. That is how mouse down will be used, right? So next comes mouse up. So what is mouse up? So mouse up, so let me save it. So what does this do? This function is executed when the left, middle, or the right mouse button is released, okay, while the mouse is, that was clicked and this was released. For example, I'll click and hold it, right? I have click and hold it. When I release it, it should tell this, it should alert something, right? Even I'll try for the right button as well. I will click it, but it will not come. When I release the right arrow, right mouse button, then only this alert should be there. So that is what is mouse up, right? So mouse down is when you click left or right button or the middle button, when you are over the HTML element, that is mouse down. But when you release it, after clicking left or right or middle, when you release it, if you want then to be displayed the alert, then you will have to use mouse up here, right? So this is about mouse up. So after mouse up, we have one more mouse command, that is hover. Now what does hover do? We have already learned hover in our CSS program, right? So whenever you go to that particular element, it changes its colors or styling. So same way we can use hover here also. So here also what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use hover directly. So how do we use hover directly? Just remove all of these things right now. So again $, so let me remove this $. Of the selector, I'm going to select the paragraph, that is hash p1. So after that I'm going to click hover of function, right? So this is the function, again close it, open this. Now after opening this, alert of, I will put you entered P1, right? So I've given this now, semicolon, after that function, right? So what I'm gonna do, comma, again I'm gonna call the function here, function of alert of by, correct? So whenever you enter the particular element, it should display you entered P1. When you leave that particular element, it should say by. So let me go back and okay, close this function now here. After closing this function, you can see we check all the syntax. Yes, it's proper. Control save, go back to the output. When you enter the function, here I have done all this syntax. You can see you should close all these things. You should add this as well. If you don't add this, your particular jQuery will not work. So you'll have to select the document ready function. If you don't select it, your document or your program will not work. Now let us see the output of it. Let me go back. You can see it says if you go near that, it says you enter P1, but this is quite awkward, right? The alert function, it's not properly showing you. So what you can use is, you can use one more important command or one more thing. So that is this CSS property. You can directly change a particular element's CSS property using .css. So let us check how do we do it. $of, I'm going to use this .css. So once you do .css, you can put all the commands, that is background, if you want, don't know background, if you want color, that's okay, color of, maybe I'm going to give red. So the syntax using the CSS property is not as simple. You have to click color here, after color you have to color, I'll give red here, right? So now control save this. Now everything is done. So I'll go back to the program. So when I go near it will change its color. When I come down, it will say by because I've given alert by here, correct? So when I just tell you again, I'm gonna refresh it. So when I go near it changes its color to red. When I come back, it will tell by, correct? So this is how you can use CSS property. If you want to use CSS property here also, you can just add $of this .css of let me change the background color of it. So background color, comma, I'm gonna give it as black. Now after that, I'm gonna semicolon it, control save. You can just remove this, right? So if you don't want directly, you can give whatever you want. Let me put alert only. If you want CSS, just do this I told you to do this, right? So you can do that. So going on to the next topic, that is the focus. Now what is a focus? Now focus method, we saw focus method in a project where we learned about whatever form we have given. When you click on that particular element of the form, it changes its focusing thing. Like it is like what happens is when you click on a particular name or something, so it completely changes the entire box over there, right? So that is forms. So let me do one thing, let me remove all of this thing right now. So here I'll remove this as well. So here I'm going to create a form first. So I'm going to create a form, maybe name, I'm going to give name. Again I'm going to give as input type, let me give input type equals text first. After text, let me give name of that. Name, I'm going to give it as full name. Now after that, what I'm going to give, I'm going to just close this. Now line break, BR is for line break. Then I'm going to add email. So email, again same thing, email, again input type, again input type, I'm going to give it as text, one more text. Name, I'm going to give it as email. So it is an email, so I'm going to give it as email. So close this, control save. Now go back and see the output. Okay, so let me go open with live server. So yes, now you can see the forms, right? So you can see all of these things right now. So you can see the form. So what I have to do is, whenever I click on it, it should perform something. It should change the background color as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a script for it. The first script, remember, first you have to put the document. After the document dot ready After that, after dot ready, you can add function, right? After function, open this, open the flower brackets. After opening the flower brackets, select that selector. Now what is that selector? I'm going to select input as the selector. So inside inverted quotes, it should be inside inverted quotes. Remember that it should be inside that. Then I'm going to say a CSS property. I'm going to give the CSS property. I'm going to give background color, comma, I'm going to give it as light blue, right? So here again semicolon, enter. Again I have to give this. So to perform that particular changes, you have to put this, right? So let me tell you, this CSS should come here, right? So there you will have to do focus, right? So we have to give focus. We just like how we did hover, we have to give focus here. Again we have to write a function, open it, just open the flower brackets. Now inside the flower brackets this will be there. So after that we will have to close this. After closing it, again let me do one thing, let me close this as well. Yes, so it has been closed. Control save. Now let me go back, and see the output. When I click, you can see the whole background color has been changed to light blue. If I want it black, I'll just click on the black, control save, go back, click on it. So the focus area is black now. So this is how you can use a CSS property here. And one more property which you can use is blur property, right? So blur property, what is blur property? Let us check. Here again I'm going to give as input selector. So after selecting the input selector dot, I'm going to give it as blur of, I'm going to give it as function. Okay, so inside function, open it. Now here I'm going to use this. Remember this, you have to use this here, dot CSS property again. So what CSS property? Let me give background color, comma, I'm going to give it as light pink. So now close it. This also you must close it. Control save. Now go back, click on it. Now what is happening? Refresh. When you click on it, it changes to black, but when you come out of it, it changes to pink, light pink. So that is what is blur property here. So you can use blur events also to actually create your forms like this, right? So refresh again. When you click on it, focus will be black. When you come out of it, the focus will be light pink. So if you want it to be red, you can just go here, red, control save, go back, click on it, it is black, come out of it, it is red. Correct? So this is how we can use blur property as well. So this was about the focus. So the next thing which we are going to learn about is jQuery sliding methods. Now let us see what is sliding methods. We're going to learn about jQuery effects. In jQuery effects, we have jQuery sliding methods. Now with jQuery, you can create sliding effect on elements. jQuery has the following slide methods, that is slide down, slide up, and slide toggle. Now let us see an example of slide down first. Now what exactly is a slide down? Slide down is nothing but whenever you go there to a particular element, or whenever you click on a particular element, the following elements or following data should be slided down, right? So that is what slide down means. So let us take an example and do it. So we had created a form, right? So let me remove that first. Let me remove it. Let me remove the form as well. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use paragraph tag. I'm going to use a paragraph tag first. Again I'm going to put it as TechVid Labs. I'm going to give a ID to it, right? So I'm going to give an ID as flip. Now there's one thing here. Next comes one more paragraph, but here I'm going to give ID as panel, right? So panel, close it. I'm going to give it as welcome, right? So two things are there right now. So now I'm going to write a script for it. First of all, remember it should be document dot ready of function of, open the flower brackets, again $of you'll have to mention flip inside the quotes. After that again dot click. So whenever I click on that flip for first paragraph, it should perform something. So that is why I'm going to use click here. So again open this. After that I'm going to use hashtag panel, the second ID, right? Again dot slide down. Now I'm going to use a slide down. So after using slide down here, you can put slow inside that, right? So it determines it comes slowly there, right? So you can put this. After that just close all of these things, right? You can just close all of these things here, right? So close the script tag. Let me go back and check the output of this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of these things right now, so we don't require it. I'm going to write a CSS styling here. So let me write a CSS styling for flip and panel. So in CSS style, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both panel comma I'm going to use flip. So open the bracket. So inside that I'm going to put padding. Padding I'm going to give it as 5px. Then again enter. Padding I have given. I'm going to give text align. So I'm going to give text align as center. So after that again enter. I'm going to give background. I'm going to give background color as some color. Maybe I'm going to give it as red. So background color of red. Now after that I'm going to give border for it. So border, let me give border as solid space 1px space some color. So let me add black, right? So after that I'm gonna close this. Now after that for panel I'm gonna do once again. So let me do it for panel. I'm gonna put a CSS. So panel open flower brackets. So here padding I'm gonna use padding. So padding I'm gonna give it as 50px. So let's check the output of this. Padding 50px and display of none. Control save. Now go back. There's nothing over here, correct? There's nothing over here. Why? Because we just removed the panel ID and this, right? So let me type once again the panel ID. Now PID is equal to, what did I give? I gave flip, right? So flip. Now inside this I'm gonna give hello, right? Right. So after that again I'm gonna give one more ID, that is panel. So inside panel, welcome to TechVid Labs. Now control save, go back. You can see hello is there. We have given the border. Now when you click on it, you can see welcome to TechVid Labs will be appeared, right? So refresh. When you go and click on it, why click? Because we have used click here. We have used click. So that is why. Refresh. When you go and click on it, now it will slide down slowly and tell welcome to TechVid Labs, right? So this is how you can use slide down there. Now if you want to use slide up as well, you can just change here as slide up, capital UP, right? So slide up, here you can find it. Control save, go back. Now when you click on it, remember you'll have to remove this display. We had this display, I've removed it. Control save, you can see the entire code will be appeared. But when you go and click on hello now, it will slide up, correct? So that is how you can use slide up here. Now next thing is the slide toggle. Now how do we use slide toggle method? Now jQuery slide toggle method toggles between slide down and slide up. It toggles between the slide down and slide up. If the elements have been slided down already, the slide up will slide them up. If the elements have been slide up already, the slide toggle will slide them down. So it does the opposite. If it is slided up, the slide toggle will be slided down. But if it is slided down, the slide toggle will make sure that it is slided up. So it does the reverse, right? So the optional, there are two parameters inside that. The one is speed and one is callback. Here there are two parameters for slide toggle. Maybe I'm going to give slide toggle. There are two parameters, one is speed and one is callback. Now optional speed parameter can take the following values: slow, fast, right? You can put slow and fast, and also milliseconds also is possible. the optional callback parameter is a function to be executed after sliding completes. Okay, whatever you want to execute, you can put in that second callback method, right? So let me go and see how do we do it. You can see now I have removed the parameters. Both the parameters are optional, so if you don't want anything there, you can just leave it there. Now control save this, go back. You can see that entire text is displayed, but when I go near the hello, click on it, it slides up, but when I click it back, it slides down, right? But what happens when you use only slide up? It will only slide up, or in the slide down, it will only slide down. It will not do the reverse. But if you use slide toggle, it will do both the things. It will slide up as well, it will slide down as well. Correct? So that is why you can use a slide toggle instead of slide up and slide down, right? So the next thing we are going to learn is jQuery stop method. Now jQuery stop method is used to stop an animation or an effect before it is finished. You can stop it anytime before it is finishing, right? So stop method works for all jQuery effect function, including sliding, fading, custom animations. All those things can be used for this stop. There are two parameters now, stop all and go to end. Now let us study what is stop all. Optional stop all parameter specifies whether also the animation queue should be cleared or not. Default is false, which means that only the active animation will be stopped. Only the active animation will be stopped if you don't specify it, allowing any queued animations to be performed afterwards, right? Only the active animation will be stopped if you give it default, if you don't give it anything inside that. If you give true, that means all the animations will be stopped. Optional go to end parameter specifies whether or not to complete the current animations immediately. If you want to specify to complete the current animations, you can give it in the second parameter, right? So the default will always be false. So this is a code for it. You can see panel code, right? So let me just go to code editor and do this. I'm in the same code, so no need to change anything here. So I'll just have to add some other things. So let me use slide down. Right, so let me use slide down here, slide down of slow, right? Slow is the parameter. So after that, I'm going to use $of, I'm going to use hashtag stop. Okay, in stop, what I'm going to do, click function. I'm going to create a function. After that, open the flower brackets. After opening the flower brackets, I'm going to use panel, right? So panel must be stopped. So let me panel. So after panel dot stop, so it will stop all the animation. So let me close this. So it is closed right now. So let me just do this. Now I will have to create one more paragraph here saying that ID should be stop, correct? So ID should be stop. Let me give some name to it. Maybe I'm going to click as stop, control save. So when you use stop, when you click on it, it will stop its entire performing the animation, and it will not animate it further, right? So you can use that as well. So this is how you can use stop. This is called as jQuery FX.